We are in the business of protecting our democracy, of understanding that we are men and women fought and died to create a democratic society. Democracy, is a pretty radical idea. It's a pretty new idea in the history of Western civilization. We take it for granted. 500 years ago, kings, queens, lords, czars, these people made decisions. They made the decisions and you followed them. And then, we had some great people a couple of hundred years ago say, well, maybe the people should make these decisions. It is beyond my comprehension, as somebody who's run for office many, many times, and I've lost and I've won. It has never once, not for 1 second, occurred to me to be scheming and thinking about how I could deny the vote to people just because they might vote against me. Never occurred to me. I campaign on my ideas. In fact, I'm here to ask for your support. You like my ideas? Support me. You don't like my ideas? We've got other good candidates out there. Support one of them. That's fine. It's called democracy. But it has never occurred to me, nor do I think the vast majority of people who engage in politics is say, okay, I know they're going to vote against me. How do I keep them from voting? I know I'm going to lose the African-American vote. What kind of cockamamie idea can I come up with in order to keep African-Americans from voting? Oh, we're going to have government ID cards. Wow, but that's a good idea because a lot of people don't have government ID cards because they can't drive, they don't own a car. We can keep them from voting. We're going to make it harder for them to vote. All right? You would think that at least there would be an agreement that in a democratic society we all agree that we want as many people to participate as possible, not as few as possible. That we want poor people and old people and young people and all people to get engaged in the political process. And then we're not going to sit around figuring out convoluted schemes to keep people from voting. Everybody knows. Voter fraud is a very serious crime. Somebody is convicted of voter fraud, I would throw the book at them because it's an attack on democracy. Here's the good news. There is very little voter fraud in America. But under the guise of fighting a non-existent problem, they are trying to disenfranchise millions and millions of people. And this is what I say. I really believe in my heart that that is an act of political cowardice. All right? If you don't have the guts to win a free election based on your ideas, get another job. I believe, and we're kind of looking at a number of ideas out there. It's, legally a little bit complicated. But at the end of the day, this is what I want to see, and as president, this is what I will make happen. If you are 18 years of age in the United States of America, you are registered to vote. End of discussion. And we're not going to allow communities around America to force people to wait online for 5 hours before they can cast their vote. Some people think, people like Jesse Jackson and others think maybe we need a constitutional amendment, something we're looking at. Because the truth is, the right to vote is not enshrined in the Constitution. It's more of a states' right issue. But at the end of the day, our job together is to see that the United States of America has one of the highest voter turnouts, not one of the lowest. Our job is to encourage and make it easier for people to participate in the political process, not harder. And count me in as somebody who will fight ferociously to make that happen.